Let me tell you something that's going to disturb you. You don't actually hate working. You hate what work has done to you. You hate the person you've become because of it. And if you keep ignoring this truth, 10 years from now, you'll wake up in the same bed, in the same house, doing the same job, wondering where your life went. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you something about yourself that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. Something that will explain the exhaustion you can't shake, the Sunday night dread, the quiet anger you feel when your alarm goes off. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why you feel the way you do. And more importantly, what the strongest minds in history did about it. But I have to warn you, once you see this, you can't unsee it. So don't scroll away. Don't tell yourself you'll come back later, because later never comes. And the version of you that clicked on this video is the same version that needs to hear every single word. Let's begin. There was a man named Marcus. Not the emperor, a regular man, 34 years old, living in Ohio, working a job he described as tolerable. He had a decent salary, health insurance, a car that ran, a girlfriend who loved him, and every single morning he woke up feeling like he was drowning. He couldn't understand it. On paper, his life was fine. Better than fine. His parents had worked in factories their whole lives. He worked in an office with air conditioning. He should have been grateful. He kept telling himself that. Be grateful, be grateful, be grateful. But the resentment kept growing, like a slow poison in his blood. One evening, after another long day of pretending to care about spreadsheets he'd forgotten by dinner, Marcus sat in his car in the parking lot. He didn't turn the engine on, he just sat there for 45 minutes, staring at the steering wheel. And he asked himself a question that changed his life. He asked, why do I hate this so much when nothing is technically wrong? And that question, my friend, is the question you need to ask yourself. Because the answer is not what you think. Here is the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. You don't hate work. Humans are built to work. Every ancient civilization worshipped labor. The Romans built empires with their hands. The Japanese built entire philosophies around craftsmanship. The Greeks believed a life without purposeful effort was a life not worth living. Work is not the enemy. What you hate is meaningless motion. You hate spending 8 hours of your one and only life doing something that doesn't matter to you, for people who don't see you, to buy things you don't need, to impress people you don't like. That is what you hate, and your body knows it, your mind knows it, your soul knows it, even when your mouth won't admit it. The exhaustion you feel at the end of the day is not physical, it's spiritual. It's the fatigue of a human being forced to be a machine. Think about this. You can spend 12 hours playing a video game and feel energized. You can spend an entire weekend building something in your garage and feel alive. You can talk to someone you love for 6 hours straight and feel more awake than when you started. So the problem is not effort. The problem is not time. The problem is the disconnect between what you do and who you are, and that disconnect is killing you slowly. The Stoics understood this 2,000 years ago. Seneca wrote something that should be tattooed on the inside of every worker's eyelids. He said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." He wasn't talking about lazy people. He was talking about busy people. He was talking about the ones who die at 80, having lived the same year 80 times. He was talking about you and me when we sleepwalk through decades chasing goals we never chose. Marcus Aurelius the Emperor wrote in his private journal every morning. And do you know what he reminded himself of? He reminded himself that he might not live through the day, not to be dramatic, but to make sure that whatever he did that day, he did it as a human being. Not as a slave to expectation, not as a puppet of duty, but as a conscious mind, choosing. That is the difference between work that heals you and work that destroys you. Choice, awareness, meaning. Most people never work. They just get worked on. Let me tell you what happens to the human brain when you spend years doing something you don't believe in. Neuroscientists have studied this. When your daily actions do not align with your internal values, your brain enters a state of chronic low-level stress. Not the sharp stress that gets you moving, the dull stress that slowly rewires your nervous system. Cortisol rises. Dopamine flattens. Your motivation circuits stop firing. You start needing sugar, caffeine, alcohol, social media, anything just to feel a spark of what used to come naturally. You become numb. You call it being tired. You call it being an adult. You call it being realistic. But it's not. It's a slow death of the self. And here is the cruelest part. The more you tolerate it, the harder it becomes to leave, because your brain adapts. It starts believing that this numbness is normal. It starts believing that this is all life has to offer. It starts protecting you from hope, because hope hurts too much when you feel trapped. This is why so many people stay in jobs they hate for 20 years. It's not that they can't leave. It's that they've forgotten they were ever alive in the first place. Now let me tell you what Marcus did. After that night in the parking lot, he didn't quit his job. He didn't move to Bali. He didn't post a dramatic video about following his passion. He did something much smaller and much more powerful. He started paying attention. Every day for 30 days, he wrote down 2 things: what drained him and what gave him energy. That was it. No big plans, no life overhauls, just observation, like a cat watching from a windowsill. Silent, patient, precise. By the end of the month, he saw a pattern he had never seen before. The tasks that drained him were not the hard ones. They were the pointless ones. The meetings that solved nothing, the reports nobody read, the performance of productivity. And the tasks that gave him energy, no matter how difficult, were the ones where he could see the impact, where he could feel a real problem being solved. That single insight changed the trajectory of his life. He didn't need a different job. He needed a different relationship with his work. He started saying no to meaningless tasks. He started volunteering for the ones that mattered. He started building skills in the areas that energized him. And slowly, without any dramatic leap, his work started to feel like his own. Within 2 years, he had shifted departments. Within 4 years, he had started his own consultancy. Not because he chased his dreams, because he stopped tolerating the parts of his life that were quietly killing him. This is the strategic wisdom that most people miss. You do not escape a bad life by making one giant decision. You escape it by paying ruthless attention to what is draining you and what is feeding you, and then adjusting your life, one small decision at a time, until the balance tips. The feline understands this. A cat does not chase every mouse. A cat waits, observes, studies the movement, calculates the timing, and then, when the moment is exactly right, it moves. Once, with total precision, and it wins. You have been chasing promotions, chasing approval, chasing the version of success someone else designed for you. And you're exhausted because you've never stopped long enough to ask, is this even my mouse? So here is what I want you to do. Tonight, before you sleep, sit somewhere quiet. No phone, no noise, just you. And ask yourself the question Marcus asked in that parking lot. Why do I hate this so much when nothing is technically wrong? Sit with the answer, even if it hurts, especially if it hurts. Because the truth is, the only thing that will set you free from the slow drowning you've been calling life. You are not lazy. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are a human being who was designed for meaningful work, trapped in a system that rewards meaningless motion. And the moment you understand that, you get your power back. Not all at once, but one clear decision at a time. If this video reached something inside you that has been quiet for too long, do not let that feeling disappear. Subscribe to Fellas Wisdom, because this is the kind of thinking that will slowly, strategically, and permanently change the way you move through the world. Like this video if it made you feel seen. Comment the word awake if you are ready to stop sleepwalking through your life. And share this with the one person you know who is drowning in silence. Master your mind. Master your life. Precision, strategy, success. This is Fearless Wisdom, and your next level is already watching you, waiting for you to arrive.